Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. Okay, shall we start? Actually, we have completed the theory part of set of gravity today. So today we are going to do some MCQ questions. That means exam questions reviewing part. So those questions are based on past paper questions. Past paper questions today. Good evening. Good evening. So shall we start? I think you have done this paper. Okay. Have done? Have you completed the questions, Putin? Have you completed all the questions? Complete करा दे हम yeah gan lang ipa actually you had enough time okay oh ඒවට නෑ කිසිම answer එක කිසිම කෙනෙක් නෑ answer එක හරි okay have you completed the question have you completed all the paper I think there are about 32 questions 32 or something no have you done all Dinit Gandhi hmm? Up to 28 are you okay lesson simple what that thing have you completed Thank you. Very good. Very good. Okay. Very good, Sukumar. Okay. Then shall we start to discuss? Shall we start to discuss? No. Still, I did not do anything today. So now we are going to start EQR reviewing part. That means my exam question reviewing part. So please take that paper. Please take that paper. I think, what should I guess? You have done all the questions. Therefore, no need to give any additional time to do. Okay. Hi. Then look into the first question number 1. This is 1992 question. So what is the answer? Question number 1. What is the answer? A thin plate of irregular shape is suspended freely by a cord from a yes, you can give your answers in the chat box today. Meanwhile, you can give your answers in the chat box. Okay, I will read the question. A thin plate of irregular shape is suspended freely by a cord from a point A, as shown in the figure 1. Next, the plate is suspended freely from another point B, as shown in the figure 2. The center of gravity of plate is most likely to be found at. Okay. A dash kai, maybe a kai. Yes. So what is the most possible point to take? What is the correct answer? What is the correct answer? What would be the correct answer? There's a possibility. Therefore, look at the question to take. The center of gravity of the plate is most likely to be found at. Therefore, there is a most possible point to take. It may be it may not be the 100% correct point, but you have to give the most possible point. Okay. So, listen, what is your answer? Subrahma? Yes. I think it would be answer number 4. Yes, answer number 4. Gandhi and Subrahma, your answers are correct. It should be answer number 4 because if you suspend any object through a thin string, to a string, definitely the string will be vertical. Therefore, if you suspend any object through a string, definitely that object will be in an equilibrium condition under two forces. Therefore, one force is tension force, other force is gravitational attraction force, or otherwise weight and the tension. Therefore, weight and the tension should be in the same vertical line. Therefore, if you draw a vertical line through the string, definitely center of gravity should be located on that vertical line. If it is okay, please raise the hand. If you got my argument, please raise the hand. We have done the theory part. Therefore, if you got my argument, please raise the hand. All can be actual married. No. Then it is very clear, if the object is suspended by A, definitely, if you draw a vertical line from A, definitely it should be center of gravity should be located on that vertical line. Therefore, most probably the center of gravity can be placed on A dash line. I think A dash is a vertical line. No? Yes, A dash is vertical line. You have to draw a line from A to A dash. That is a vertical line. That is the vertical line number 1. Then the vertical line goes through point B. The second figure, the object is suspended at point B. Therefore, if you draw a vertical line from point B, definitely the center of gravity should also located on that vertical line. Therefore, the center of gravity should be located on both A dash and the vertical line goes through the point B. Therefore, you have to go this one. Here point B. So this is the vertical line. Goes through point B. Then here point A, here point A dash. Therefore, if you draw a line, that connects A dash, then the intersection point of these two lines should be the center of gravity, because center of gravity should be located on this line as well as on this line. And therefore, center of gravity should be located at this intersection point of those two lines. If you got my argument, please raise the hand. Argument. Okay, when you are doing this kind of questions, you can use your ruler. Just draw a vertical line through point B. Then you can connect A dash. Then, actually, this is very, very easy question. We can do this question within very few seconds. Okay, you have to draw two vertical lines from point B. Then you know A dash is another vertical line. Therefore, you have to connect A dash as well as the line goes through point B. Therefore, answer would be S. S again on to that. Therefore, most possible point is point S. Most possible point is point S, because R cannot be taken because if you draw A dash line, R is just above the A dash line. Look at this. Look at the given figure. if you draw a line, AA dash, definitely R is just above the line. Is that clear? R is just above the line. Therefore, you cannot take R. And therefore, most possible answer is S. Take the answer. If you got the thing, please raise the hand. Then B. What is the correct answer for B? What is the correct answer for B? What is the correct answer for B? I need the answer from everyone. Now I'm going to read the question, Pute. Because you have the questions paper. This is 1993 question. 1993 question. Okay. Alright. There are few answers. There are few answers. Some are telling it is point D. Some are telling it is point E. What would be the correct answer? Okay. Actually, it should be point D, Bhuti. It should be point D. Question it should be point D. Why can't we take point E, Bhuti? It can be happen, no? Point E also possible, no? Why can't we take point E? Why can't we take point E? Gandhi, Subrahma? Why did you take point D instead of point E? Actually, point E also correct. No? Point E at the bottom, Bhuti. Therefore, it can be happen. It can be happen. Why didn't you choose point E? I point E got the No. No. You have drawn the reaction force and take the point it as E, point D. You have drawn the reaction force. The reaction force goes through point D. Therefore, you have chosen the center of gravity as point D. No, it can move with it. It can move, but this is the toy. Actually, this toy is made. There's a condition. This toy always in vertical position. Therefore, that means if you suppose if you put a displacement into this side. If you give a displacement to this toy and then you release that displacement, then what will happen? This toy again come to the original position. That means this toy always be in the vertical position. Therefore, actually, if it is in vertical position always, then definitely there should be one condition. What is that condition? If you give a movement, definitely there should be an opposite moment which is created by the center of gravity. If there is an opposite moment which is created by the weight, then definitely what will happen? Once we release that movement pute, once we release the displacement, then the toy will come to the original position. That means now we have give a displacement to this direction. Give a displacement to this direction. So until we keep this displacement, until we keep this position using our fingers, then this object will remain at the same position. Once we take our hands, then what will happen? Now, due to the weight of this object, this weight create clockwise moment. Clockwise moment weight again clockwise moment. Due to the moment created by weight is into the clockwise direction, then this object will come to the vertical position. The same thing happens when the object moves into the other direction. When the object is moved into the other direction, now we have given a movement to this direction. If I release my hand, to come to the original position, definitely this object should have a anti-clockwise moment into the opposite direction of movement. And therefore, definitely, again, here the contact point here the contact point. Therefore, if you draw a vertical line to the contact point, actually this is the point this object rotates around this point. This object rotates around this point. Minimum point So if you take a moment about this point, definitely to go back to the original vertical position, there should be a moment to the other side. To have that moment, definitely weight should be like here. And මෙතනත් එහෙමයි. මෙන්න මේක වටේට කරගෙන පුතේ. Therefore, if you draw a vertical line from here, මෙතන vertical line එකක් ගන්නොත් එහෙම අනිවාර්යෙන් center of gravity එක තියෙනවනේ මේ vertical line එකෙන් එහා පැත්තේ. හරිද? මේක වටේට කරගෙන පුතේ. This object rotates around this point. Therefore, if you give a movement to this side, and if you release this movement, and if this object comes to the original position, then definitely there should be a moment to this side. To have that moment, definitely the weight should be located right to this vertical line. මේ line එකට පොඩ්ඩක් දකුණට පැත්තට තමයි weight එක එන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් weight එකේ moment එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. මේ vertical line එක through එන්නේ නැහැ. vertical line එක through આવොත් moment එකක් එනවා. vertical line එක through આવොත් moment එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? vertical line එක through આવොත් එහෙනම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? නිකන් මේක දැන් අතරියට පස්සේ දැන් මෙතන force එකක් නැහැ නේද? මෙයා එහෙම නම අතරියට පස්සේ මෙතන force එකක් නැහැ. ඒතකොට forces දෙකයි තියෙන්නේ. එකක් weight එක one is the weight and the one is the reaction force. So if you take moment about this point, these two forces, that means reaction force and the weight, if the reaction force and the weight are in the same vertical line, definitely they will not create a resultant moment. They will not create a resultant moment. If so, this object remains at the same position. ඒක තේරෙනවද උස්සන්? මෙතන මේ බලන්න මේක reaction force එක උදේ. මේක තමයි reaction force එක. ඒක නිසා weight එක මේ reaction force එක උඩ තිබ්බොත් එහෙම මොකද වෙන්නේ? equal and opposite forces දෙකක් තියෙනවා එකම line එකේ. එහෙමනම් ඔයා මෙහෙම නමපු ගමන් ඒ විදිහට මෙයා stable position එකේ ඉන්නවා. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. තේරුණාද උස්සන්? If this reaction force and the weight is on the same vertical line, then definitely they will not create a resultant moment. Okay? Suppose now this is the reaction force, this is the weight. Now this is suppose this line is same, so this is the line. So if so, no, how can it fall? How can it fall, Budi? Can you explain? If it falls, definitely there should be a resultant moment into that falling direction. Is that clear? Is that clear? Definitely there should be a resultant moment into the moving direction. Okay? If you keep this movement, then definitely it will fall. But එහෙම කරන්නේ නැහැ. And if you keep this force, definitely this object will fall. And but normally you are given actually force means if you apply a continuous force, definitely this will fall. Again, what continuous force then මොකද වෙන්නේ? අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කරන්න උත් එහෙම නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ. And you have to give a small push. Push means you have to give a force and release. Force and release. If you give a force and if you release that force, what will happen? This object will move to this direction and come back to the original position. If you give a small punch to other side, this object will move to this direction. Again, it will come to the original position. You will give a force and you will not continue that force until it falls. You will give a force. If it is in unstable condition, definitely it will force. If it is in a stable condition, it will come to the original position. If it is in neutral condition, it will stay at any point, at any orientation. Is that clear? There are three stable conditions, no? Three equilibrium conditions, no? There are three equilibrium conditions. What are those? One is stable, other one is unstable, other one is neutral. And unstable means if you give a small displacement, to that object will fall. Fall means that object, the initial orientation will be changed. Yeah. That is unstable condition. If it is stable, if you give a small displacement or a small push and it may release it, you have to release it, okay? Release it, what will happen? During that punch or during that push, this object will move into some direction. Once the force is released, again this object will come to the original position. Again this object will come to the original position. And පංචක දෙකම මෙහෙම ඉඳලා පංචක අතරිය ගම පිටට. පංචක දෙකකින් ඉඳලා අතරිය ගම පිටට. Neutral condition means if you give a displacement, that object will be in an equilibrium condition at any orientation. At any orientation. Only පැත්තකට. That is the difference between three equilibrium conditions. And so now this object is in but always return to the upright vertical position when release. That means this object comes to the original position. Yes, the center of gravity should be at the lowest position. Then according to the previous theory, to මට මෙන්න මේක කියන පුතේ මෙන්න මේක පැහැදිලිද මේක පැහැදිලිද මේක පැහැදිලි to come back to the original position definitely. So this object will rotate about this position. This object will rotate about this position A. So this is the vertical line across this position. Therefore, if you release this force, now there are only two forces. One is reaction force, other one is W. Now this object is inclined. This object inclines to this into this direction, and there are only two forces. Now think like this. If this object needs to come back to the original position, needs to come back to the original position, then definitely this object should rotate into this direction. To rotate into this direction, definitely this object should have a moment to this direction. To have that moment, definitely W should be little bit right to the vertical. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. එක තේරුණා නේද උස්සන්න මගේ point එක? මතක තියාගන්න මේ vertical line එකේ උඩ W තියෙන්න බෑ. හරිද? vertical line එක උඩ W තියෙන්න බෑ. මෙතන vertical line එක උඩ තියෙන්නේ කෙලින්ම B වගේ මට පේන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඕගොල්ලෝ ගත්තා නම් මේ vertical line එක උඩ තමයි මේක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක නිසා මම D තෝරන්න කියලා ගත්තා නම් ඒක වැරදි point එක. හරිද? ඒක නිසා මේක ඇඳ ගන්න. ඒ review එක දාගන්න. You have to write this one. Okay? You can know this one. I will give a review. I will explain later. I will explain. Definitely, there should be a possibility to have E, Actually, E is the lowest position. Therefore, point E will fulfill this requirement. If the center of gravity is at point E, definitely it will fulfill this requirement. It will fulfill this requirement. Definitely, the object will be at the stable condition. That's true. Okay? Your arguments are true. Your arguments is very true, 100% true. But that is a small problem. What is that? Can you make any production, any object, can you make any object whose center of gravity at the bottommost position? Can you make it? Can you make it? Can you make any object whose center of gravity at the bottommost position? Can you make it? What do you think? Now this is subject. Can you make an object like this? Can you make any object? Can you make object whose center of gravity at the bottommost position? No, you cannot. You cannot. That is an impossible position. Why? What is the reason? Because all the masses are distributed to this side. All the masses are distributed to this side. Therefore, the weight of all the now there are small particles. There are small particles. Therefore, weight of all the particles, weight of all the small particles are located above this point. Therefore, their resultant force definitely should be located above the bottommost position. Actually, there is no way. All the weights are now. Suppose now this is now this is x-axis. Sorry. Suppose now this is x-axis. All the weights are located above the x-axis. All the weights are located above the x-axis. If all the weights are located above the x-axis, now tell me about the possibility of the resultant force. The possibility to have the resultant force of this force system at this position. How they make resultant force in to have the resultant force, sum of forces should be located below this point. If there are some forces below this point, then definitely the resultant might be at this kind of position. Is that clear? Kavadaවත් center of gravity එක center of mass එක bottommost position එකට ඉන්න බෑ. අය පුතේ ඔක්කොම weights ටික තියෙන උඩනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔක්කොම forces ටික උඩ තියෙන්නේ. උඩ ඔක්කොම forces තියෙනවා නම් යට කිසිම force එකක් නැත්නම් කොහොමද bottom එකට එන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ resultant force එක? අපි center of gravity එක කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද පුතේ? center of gravity එක කියලා කියන්නේ මේ එක mass එකේ එක weight එකේ අපි එක particles වල තියෙන එක weight එකේ resultant force එකනේ. Actually, center of gravity means that is the resultant force of all the weights. The resultant force of all the weights. And where all the weights are resultant force, and therefore definitely the resultant force cannot be at the lowermost position because all the forces are on the all the forces are above this point. හරිද? මොකද අපි එහෙම කියන්නේ? මොකද මේවා ඔක්කොම පුතේ parallel forces නේ. අපි parallel force දෙකක් ගත්තොත් parallel force දෙකක් ගන්න. Parallel force දෙකක resultant force එක කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ? If you consider about two parallel forces, their resultant should be in between them. The resultant force cannot be located either two sides. It cannot be located. The resultant force of two forces into the same direction. The resultant force of two parallel forces into the same direction is located in between them. දෙපැත්තේ තියෙන force දෙකක resultant force එක මැද්දේ තියෙන්නේ. මැද්ද කියලා කියන්නේ හරි මැද්ද නෙවෙයි. නමුත් ඒ දෙක අතර තියෙන. හරි. එහෙමනම් ඉතින් අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක මෙතනින් පල්ලෙහා මැස්සයක් නැතුව එතනට ගේන්න බෑ කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක පැහැදිලිද? Is that clear? Is that clear? Therefore, we cannot have the center of gravity at the lowermost position of an object. If you got that thing, please raise the hand. තේරෙනවද ප්‍රශ්නේ? Yeah. ඒක හොඳ question එකක්. එතන අපිට ඉගෙන ගන්න දේවල් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. මේ point එක. අනිත් එක තමයි වැදගත් point එක. The center of gravity cannot be located at the lowermost position because the resultant force of two parallel forces, which are into the same direction, is located in between them. Therefore, resultant force of all the weight should be located in between those forces. Therefore, the resultant force of all the weights should be located above the lowermost position. If you want to place this weight at this position, definitely there should be a weight below this one. Okay, let's draw this one. Meghalith. There are this one. If the object is in stable equilibrium condition, R and W cannot be on the same vertical line. Same vertical line. When the object R and W cannot be on the same vertical line. When the object is moved when the object is not moved, move not move, when the object is rotated, into a certain direction. The object is rotated into a certain direction. Okay, that means when the object is rotated into the same direction, then these two cannot be in same vertical line. Okay? If the object is in vertical position, then R and W are on the same vertical line. That is no issue. But if it is rotated, into a certain direction, then they cannot be on the same vertical line. And therefore, W should be located. W should be located in such a way, in such a way, in such a way that the weight can create an opposite moment to the rotated direction. Opposite moment to the rotated direction. Last part. W should be located in such a way that the weight can create an opposite moment to the rotated direction. ඊළඟ note එක පුතේ බලන්න center of gravity cannot be located at an edge of any object. It cannot be either in bottom or top or any other edges. It cannot be, because if you consider edge, if you consider a certain edge, all the masses are located in a certain direction to the edge. If you consider edge, there's no mass in one side, all the masses are in the other side. If you consider the edge, mass is located at one side only. Other side there is no mass. Center of gravity means that is the resultant weight of particles. Resultant weight of particles. Therefore, if you consider about two parallel forces, if you consider two parallel forces, if you consider two parallel forces which are into the same direction, their result should be in between them. Their result should be in between them. Their result should be in between them. And that is the point number one. Point number one is, if you consider two parallel forces which are into the same direction, their result should be located in between them. That is theory part. And then the second theory part is the weight. The weight means the weight of an object means that is the resultant force of all the weights of all particles. Actually, if you consider about any object is consist of many particles put in. Any object is consist of many particles. Therefore, their weights, these particles have weights. These particles have weights. So, the center of gravity means that is the point of action. That is a point of action of the resultant force of these particles, resultant force of these main forces. So, now all these forces are into the same direction. Therefore, their resultant force should be in between them. Should be in between them. And it should be in between them. මේ පැත්තට masses නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ පැත්තට masses නැත්නම් මෙතන තියෙන විදියන්නේ. Definitely, if the weight is at this position, if the weight is at C, definitely there should be another weight from here, from this side. Then here, then we can consider this one as like this. This is for C. This is the weight W1. This is the other weight W2. Then the resultant force of Wn and W2, that means the total force, total weight, now it can be at point C. Now it can be at point C. මේ පැත්තේ තිබ්බොත් මෙතන තියෙනවා. මේ පැත්තේ නැත්තම් පුතේ result එක තියෙන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ පැත්තේ. Therefore, as there is no mass distribution, outside of the main object, therefore, center of gravity cannot be located at any edge of the object. Is that clear? Center of gravity edge එක තියෙන්න බෑ. ඒක හොඳ point එකක් MCQ වලට. And තේරුණා තුස්සන්නේ? If you get that one, please raise the hand. Center of gravity එක edge එකේ තියෙන්න බෑ. I need responses from everyone. හැමෝගෙම මට respond එක දෙන්න. තේරුණා නැත්නම් කියන්න. Thank you. Right. هذا بدي نظر كل ما تينا. Rashid. Okay. Center of gravity cannot be located at the edge පුතේ. මොකද මේ edge එකෙන් එහා පැත්තේ mass එක නැහැ. edge එකෙන් එහා පැත්තේ mass එක නැත්තම් මේගොල්ලන්ගේ result force එක මෙතනට එන්න බෑ. මේගොල්ලන්ගේ result force එක කවදාවත් මෙතනට එන්න බෑ. මොකද මේ පැත්තේ mass එක නැහැ. මේ පැත්තේ mass එක නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ weight එකක් නැහැ. ඒන result force එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේගොල්ලන්ගේ අතරේම තමයි. දැන් මේ දෙන්නගේ result force එක මේ දෙන්න අතර. මේ දෙන්නගේ result force එක මේ දෙන්න අතර. මේ දෙන්නගේ මේ දෙන්න අතර. මේ දෙන්නගේ මේ දෙන්න අතර. ඒ වගේ. අන්තිමට result force එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද මේ ඇතුළේම තමයි. ඇයි weight එක තියෙන්නේ මෙතන මොකද? Is that clear? පැහැදිලිද? Yeah. So if it is clear, please raise the hand again. තේරෙනවා තුස්ස? Okay, then write this special note. Okay, this is a special note. Write down this thing as well. Draw this figure. Okay, look at this one. If you consider about point C, if the center of gravity is at point C, then definitely if the center of gravity is result force, no? If the resulting weight is at point C, definitely there should be two weights. There should be two weights. But the weight there thin, no? If the center of gravity is point B, definitely there should be two weights. At the two sides පුතේ. මෙතනත් තියන්න. මෙයාගේ තියෙනවා නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ දෙපැත්තේ weights දෙකක් තියෙනවා. දෙපැත්තේ weight දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මෙයාගෙත් තියෙනවා. මෙතන තියෙනවා දෙපැත්තේ weight දෙකක් තියෙනවා. දෙපැත්තේ weight දෙකක් තිබ්බොත් තමයි එතන තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේ පැත්තේ weights නැහැ, මේ පැත්තේ weight නැහැ. කෝනර් ගාවක් මේ පැත්තේ weight එකක් නැහැ. එහෙනම් මෙතනට ආවේ විදියක් නැහැ. හරිද? ඒකත් ඕන දාන්න. Okay, write this one. Center of gravity cannot be located at cannot be located at any outer corner, any outer edge, any outer edge, any outer edge. The center of gravity cannot be located at any outer edge of an object. Full stop. Because there is no mass distribution. There is no mass distribution there's no mass distribution beyond the outer edge. Beyond the outer edge. Therefore, the resultant weight, cannot be located at the outer edge. You have to highlight that one. The resultant weight cannot be located at the outer edge. Okay. Now you know this is the stable condition. Write down in another para. Therefore, the center of gravity cannot be located at point T. Therefore, the center of gravity cannot be located at point T. Alright. Alright. Now I'm going to give you another question based on the same figure. අපිට question එක වෙනස් වෙලා හින්න පුළුවන් නේද දැන් අපිට question එක වෙනස් වෙලා ඉන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් හිතන්න එම question එක වෙනස් වෙනවා කියලා. Okay. Actually questions can be changed. But basically the theory part means the basic question is same, but the final objective can be changed with it. Okay, now I'm going to change the final outcome. Or now I'm going to change the question. Okay. I need answers from you. Then you have to draw two different figures. You have to draw two different figures that shows the center of gravity of the object. That shows the center of gravity of the object who's in unstable equilibrium condition and neutral equilibrium condition. Now this is a stable condition with it. This is the stable condition. And now we have to draw two different figures that show the neutral condition and the unstable condition. Neutral condition and the unstable condition. Takkalani. හරියට අදින්න ඕනේ නිකන් අදින්න බෑ හරියටම අදින්න ඕනේ හරියටම අදලා මේකේ තියෙන numbers වලින් අදින්න මේකේ දිනන කොට A B C D E කියලා. Now in this question there are 5 points for the A B C D and D. So once you draw the figure you have to mark those points in your figure. A B C D and B. A B C D and E. So if it is unstable equilibrium condition or neutral condition, you have to select the correct center of gravity. Question means, again I'm repeating the question. Now this is a stable condition. You know that thing, no? You have to draw two figures that mention the unstable equilibrium condition and the neutral equilibrium condition. When you are drawing the figures, you have to mark the points, the given points A, B, C, D, and E on your diagram. Then you have to mark the center of gravity of each figure. Have a good day. Have finished? Have finished. I think time is enough. Yeah. So if it is unstable equilibrium, now tell me what would be most possible point of center of gravity? Neutral point C. Unstable point A, neutral point C. Anita? That's one answer. That's one answer. Unstable point C, neutral point. Sorry, unstable point A, neutral point C. Okay, there is one answer. Neutral point C. Unstable point. Unstable. Did simple. What are your answers? So if it is unstable condition, what would be the most possible point of center of gravity? And if it is neutral condition, what would be the most possible point of center of gravity? අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ මේ අපි when we are doing an equal question, but equal means exam question. When we are doing exam question, actually, there will be some occasions where we cannot go beyond that question. But if we can go beyond that question, we have to consider all the possible questions based on that question. So that is reviewing. That is reviewing. That means if you are reviewing, definitely you have to think what kind of questions can be regenerated from this question. හැම වෙලේම හිතන්න කොහොමද ආයෙසරක් මේක මොන වගේ question ආයෙ හැදෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ question එක බේස් කරලා. හරි. එහෙම අපි අනිවාර්යෙන් හිතනවා. මොකද සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මම හැම වෙලේම කියනවා ඔයාලා පාස් පේපර්ස් කරනවා නම් පුතේ පාස් පේපර්ස් කරනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් 200ක් ෂුවර් පාස් පේපර් කරන කෙනෙක්ට බොහොම ලේසි එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. බොහොම ලේසි එකක් ගන්න. මොකද පාස් පේපර් questions තමයි පුතේ ආය අහන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒකම අහන වෙලාවක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට බේස් වෙන්නේ මේ ටිකම තමයි බේස් වෙන්නේ. Actually, most of the questions in your MCQ paper are based on past papers. Therefore, if any student did past papers again and again, definitely he can get the A plus very easy. But doing past paper is another art, Puti. And so you don't want to get answers for past papers. You have to learn something from those questions, Puti. So if you want to learn something, definitely you have to think like this. Like this means if you do a question, you have to think what are the other ways or what are the other different questions that can be asked based on this question type. And so those are the other ways, Puti. So in here, you are asked to determine a stable condition, but you know there are another two type of conditions, neutral and unstable. Therefore, think like that. If I'm asked any different kind of question like that, what would be my approach? You have to prepare. You have to prepare like this. අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයාලා ඒ විදිහට prepare වෙන්න ඕන. මේක මට වෙනස් කරලා දුන්නොත් මොන වගේ ආන්සරයක් මම දෙන්න වෙනවද? මොන වගේ මේ ස්ටෙප් එකක් මට ෆලෝ කරන්න වෙයි? හිතන්න. Okay. Now tell me what is the answer, what is the neutral point and what would be the unstable point? Can be and be. Sorry. There are two answers. There are two answers only. Sadhu and Gandhi. Others? I need answers from everyone. Dinit? Sukulma? No, I don't know what I'm try කරන්න අයවල. A unstable, C neutral. A unstable, C neutral. Huh? Dhambi? What is your answer? Yasit? Steve? Rida? Riddhan? Okay. Barak mein Nisa Makia bad. Look at this one. Now tell me, what is this shape? This shape? What is this shape? The bottom one? What is this shape? ඒකවත් කියන්න මම කට්ටිය. What is this shape? Yes, it's similar. Alright. So I think you know about geometry. You know about geometry. Okay, now this is a circle. Now this is a circular part. So if it is a circular part, now you know this is the center of the circle. And if you consider this line, what is this line? What is this line? This line? No, this is the floor. That is correct. But if we consider about geometrical figure, now this is a semicircle pute, semicircular shape pute. Then to that circle, what would be? What is this? What is this? Yes, it is a tangent. You know, if you draw a perpendicular to a tangent, that perpendicular line should go through If you draw a perpendicular to tangent, then what should happen? Yes, it should go through the center. That means if actually no matter what is the position of this object, no matter what is the position of this object, if you consider any position, this is a circle. This is a circular part. This is a tangent. This is a tangent to that circular part. If you draw the normal reaction is always perpendicular to tangent. Normal reaction is always perpendicular to tangent. Therefore, no matter which is the position, the perpendicular reaction should go through the center. That is the most important thing. The perpendicular reaction should go through center. Therefore, no matter what is the position of this toy putty, the perpendicular reaction always goes to the center. It always goes to the center. It always goes to the center. That means B, point B. It always goes to point B. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. තේරුණා නැත්නම් Hi. Now tell me what is the neutral point? What is the unstable point? Now tell me what is the neutral point? What is the unstable point? දැන්වත් කියන්න බෑ ඉතින් හම ගහන්න ඕන. What is the neutral point? What is the unstable point? Then කියහම බා what is the neutral point? What is the unstable point? අනිත් අය Yes. Definitely, neutral point should be at point B. Neutral point should be, if it is neutral condition, the center of gravity should be located at point B. The center of gravity, if it is neutral condition, the center of gravity should locate at point B because at any position, at any orientation, the normal reaction goes to point B. So if the center of gravity at point B, then definitely at any position, R and W, two forces are equal and opposite, and their line of actions are collinear. That means at any condition, these two forces are not, these two forces do not create any moment within at any position, because at any position they are මෙතන R නම් මෙතන W තුනේ. මෙතන W. Here W. Here W. Therefore, at any position, R and W are collinear. If they are collinear, definitely they will not create any moment with it. Therefore, the neutral condition means definitely center of gravity should be at point B. Therefore, center of gravity should be located at point B. Should be located at point B. And හරි. ඇහෙන්නද පුතේ මම? Can't we hear? Yeah, actually පුතේ there are so many contact points no? According to this figure, there are so many contact points. Actually, if you, I think this is some extract figure from the paper. Actually, there cannot be so many contact points. Okay? So if you consider about this figure, the normal reaction can go through point C as well as point D. No? Actually, there's a range of contact points, no? According to this figure. According to this figure, there's a range of contact points. ඒකට අකව ගොඩක් තියෙනවා කියන්නේ. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ වගේ එක පොයින්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. මෙහෙම තියෙන්න බෑ. ඒක. If you draw a figure like this, if you draw a figure like this, now this is a contact point. Okay? Someone can take this one as the contact point. Someone can take this one as a contact point. Someone can take this one as the contact point. Therefore, if you draw a current figure, then definitely there should be one contact point if it is a circle. If it is a circle. And so if it is not a circle, if it is a square or any other point, any other geometrical figure, then there may be several contact points. If it is a square or rectangle or triangular shape, there are a lot of contact points. There are a lot of contact points. But if it is a circle, if it is a circular part, then definitely there should be one single point. Because this is a straight line. This is a straight line. Therefore, this is a tangent to the circle. If it is a tangent to the circle, tangent contacts with circle at a certain point, at a certain point only. And tangent, actually, any tangent touch the circle at a certain point. And tangent has points key. They got to touch in there. Any some figure again would be at the So again, I am repeating the explanation. If this is a tangent, this is a circular part, this is a circular part. Therefore, this one is the tangent to the circular. If you draw a normal reaction, it will be a perpendicular tangent. Perpendicular. If you draw perpendicular to a tangent, definitely it will go through the center of the circle. Therefore, according to that argument, the normal reaction should go through the center of the circle. So, if it is in neutral condition, definitely the weight should be collinear with the normal reaction. What is the reason? Reason is, if it is collinear, then definitely this will not create force couple. If there's no force couple, there's no moment. That means this object will not rotate. If there's a force couple, then object will rotate. Now there's no force coupling. Therefore, this object will not rotate. And therefore, this is an equilibrium condition. That means this object will continue the equilibrium condition at any position. At any position. Is that clear? පැහැදිලිද? Therefore, if you have any circular part like this පුතේ, now there's a small small practice පුතේ. It's පොඩි මේකක් තියෙනවා. බලන්න. You can draw a line. You can draw vertical line. Vertical line means you can draw a symmetrical line to the center. You can draw symmetrical line to the center. Symmetrical line එකක් අද center එකකින් center එකකින්. ඔන්න symmetrical line එකක්. And now this is the center. This is the center of the circle. This is a symmetrical line. Symmetrical axis. You have to draw symmetrical axis through the center. Then you know, now you can draw a vertical line at any position. You can draw a vertical line at any position. And so this vertical line should be the reaction. No reaction. Okay. No reaction. Therefore, if it is in unstable condition, the center of gravity should be located at this position. Just above the center. If it is a stable condition, the center of gravity should be located at this position. This kind of position. So if it is neutral condition means the center of gravity should be located at exactly point B. Exactly point B. Therefore, if you have any circular part like this at the bottom, then just draw the symmetrical line and the vertical line. Symmetrical line and the vertical line. Vertical line means reaction force. And the level line. Unstable, stable. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. This is neutral condition. Neutral condition is at point B. Neutral, if it is neutral, center of gravity. If it is neutral, then it's the center of gravity at point B. මේ question එක මේ question එක මම මේ හිතලා දීපු එක නෙවෙයි හොඳේ. මේ question එකයි දැන් ඊළඟට මම මේ කතා කරන එකයි දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. මම මේ question එකෙන් එන්න පුළුවන් විදියක් මම මේ කිව්වේ. Hurry. Then question number 3, what is the answer? Question number 3, what is the answer? Question number 3. Yes. Hey, Ruby Baranapati, it should be actually may at point B. It should be at point B because now this person, uh, actually he bends as in the figure. Therefore, its weight. Normally, its weight. Now, the most of its weight are concentrated into the, if you consider about this figure, Pute, most of the weights, most of the mass of this body is concentrated into the right hand side, and therefore most of the case its normal reaction should go through that point, Pute. Therefore, most possible point is point B. Point B. බඩගු චුට්ටක් තියෙනවනේ. මෙහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන් නිකන් බලන්න. If you bend like this, බලන්න පොඩ්ඩක්. If you bend like this, normally your normal reaction. If you bend like this, your normal reaction moves towards your toes. බලන්න. මෙහෙම මේ විදිහට නැමුණොත් බලන්න. If you bend like this, normally your reaction between the floor and your body moves to your toe area. බලන්න. මෙහෙම bend වෙලා බලන්න කට්ටිය. බලන්න. මෙහෙම bend වෙලා කකුල මේ අත් දෙකෙන් අල්ලලා බලන්න. හරි. You can bend like this and you can touch your fingers from your hands. If you do like this, you can feel the reaction goes to the toe area. තේරෙනවද? Reaction එක toe area එකට එනවා. That means the reaction from the floor goes to the toe area. Therefore, now this man is in equilibrium condition under two forces. No? Therefore, the reaction force should go through normally toe area තමයි. Therefore, it goes through point B. Therefore, the correct answer should be point B. If it is correct, please raise the hand. Do you know that, Roshan? Okay. මේ සාමාන්‍ය මිනිස්සෙක් කියන්නේ මේ සාමාන්‍ය මිනිස්සෙක් අඳලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ සාමාන්‍ය මිනිස්සුන්ගේ බර යන්නේ උත සාමාන්‍යයෙන් වැඩිපුර තියෙන්නේ උඩ කොටස තමයි වැඩිපුර බර තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් අපි වත් අපි එහෙම බීලා ඉන්නකොට බඩ හැරි ගන්න මොඩි කරවලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ ඒ නිසා වෙනම ලෝස් එක විතරනේ. නැත්තම් මේ පිටිපස්ස පැත්තට වැඩිපුර වේට් එක කියලා නෑ හොඳේ. ඒ වුණොත් තමයි D වගේ වෙන්නේ. හරි. හරි ලෙසන්. හරි. Fourth one. What is the correct answer? Fourth one. Fourth one. What is the correct answer? The coordinate of the center of gravity. The coordinates of the center of gravity of a uniform sheet of cardboard shown in the figure A are x naught, y naught. X naught, y naught. X naught, y naught. I don't know. The cardboard is now folded along OP as shown in the figure point B. Figure B. The center of gravity, this is 1995 question, 1995 question. This is 1995 question. The cardboard is now folded along OP as shown in the figure B. The center of gravity of the folded cardboard has coordinate. Now tell me what is the answer for question number 4. Question number 4. Remember? Now this is the initial cardboard. Okay. Here x-axis, this is y-axis. Here OP line. Here OP line. So if this cardboard is folded along OP line, then now it is like this. Initially, suppose the center of gravity is at this position on that net. So this is x naught and y naught. X naught means this location, y naught means this location. Now the mass distribution is like this. Mass distribution is like this. Now this part, now this cardboard is folded along this OP line. Therefore, this part, this section is overlapped with this one. That means now this mass also on this mass. Therefore, the entire mass distribution should be at this position. The entire mass distribution. Now this is the initial. So you know this is the symmetrical axis. You know this is the symmetrical axis. Okay? This is the symmetrical axis. Therefore, the initial center of gravity should be located on the symmetrical axis. That is very clear. I don't know where the exact location of x naught, y naught. I don't know. I don't want to know. But you have to know it should be on the symmetrical axis. If it is clear, please raise the hand. ඒක තේරුණා තුස්සන්? ඒක symmetrical axis එක උඩ තියෙනවා නේද? කට්ටිය. Okay. Now, if this mass is placed on this mass, what will happen? The mass distribution to the y side, will be reduced. Now the mass is distributed totally to this side. The mass distribution to the y side is totally reduced, and now it is into this side. Therefore, as the mass distribution to the y side decreases, definitely this position should be lower. It should be lower. Definitely should be lower. Therefore, the y coordinate x0 y0 here. Therefore, definitely y coordinate should be lower somewhere here. Is that clear? දැන් මේ පැත්තේ මෑස් එකක් නැහැ පුතේ. එහෙනම් y එක අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ පල්ලෙහාට එන්න. පැහැදිලිද? පැහැදිලි y එක මේ පැත්තේ පල්ලෙහාට ඇවිල්ලා ඕන පැත්තක ඉන්න පුළුවන්. If it is clear, please raise the hand. තේරුණාද පුතා? As the mass distribution along y-axis decreases, definitely, and the mass along this side increases. මේ පැත්තට පල්ලෙහාට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. Therefore, y naught should be lower. Therefore, definitely y value should be lesser than y naught. It should be lesser than y naught. Now it is very clear the initial mass distribution to x side is like this. X side is like this. Now what will happen? Now there's additional mass to this side. The additional mass to this side. The කලින් තිබ්බට වඩා mass එකක් ඒ පැත්තට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. And therefore now the x coordinate, definitely x coordinate should go through this side. Y එක බලලා යනකොට x එක අනිත් පැත්තට යනවා. x එක අනිත් පැත්තට යනකොට mass එක මෙහෙට ගිහලා තියෙන වැඩිපුර. ඒ මේ හැරෙක triangular shape එකක් තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් mass එක මෙහෙට shift වෙනවා පොඩ්ඩක්. mass එක වැඩිපුර තියෙන තැන තමයි පුතේ center of gravity යන්නේ. Therefore, you have to think like this one. The center of gravity is located near to the high mass concentration area. High mass concentrated area. Therefore, if there is a mass concentration, high mass concentration, the center of gravity will move to that location. Center of gravity අනිවාර්යෙන් move වෙන්නේ mass concentration එක වැඩි පැත්තට. Therefore, x coordinate should be higher than x naught. X coordinate should be higher than x naught. Y coordinate should be lesser than y naught. Therefore, the correct answer should be answer number 4. If you get that thing, please raise the hand. තේරෙනවද තුස්සන්? I need responses from everyone. Thank you. Okay, fifth one, what is the answer? Fifth one. question. When H-shaped body shown in the figure is hung from point B or B. All right. It is hung with point D directly below E. Sorry. It Hans with point D directly below E. Directly below E. Oh, nineteen 96, question 1996. चलो. When a H-shaped body is shown in the figure, is hung from point B, it has with point D directly below B. Directly below B. හරි. එතන පොඩ්ඩක් ඒ කතන්දරේ පොඩ්ඩක් ආයෙ හදාගන්න වෙනවා. නෑනේ මම අසු. නේ? Look at this one. Now you can think like this. You can think like this. Now there's this part. Look, මෙන්න මේ part එක දිනනවා. So now here the x naught here පුතේ. Okay. බලන්න. මේක හරියටම කරන්න ඕන මම පෙන්නන්න. මෙන්න මේ හරියටම කරන්න. මම කලින් අර ගෙස් කරලා කරේ. ඉතින් ගෙස් කරලා කරන්න මේ මොනවද? සෙන්ටර් ඔෆ් ග්‍රැවිටි කරන් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ගෙස් කරලා කරන එක කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා ගෙස් කරලා කරේ බලන්න මම කන්ටම් කරන්නේ. මට වෙන්නේ මේ වෙනම ප්‍රශ්න ගන්නවා. Now I can divide this part into two segments. One is this rectangular, other one is the upper rectangle. The center of gravity of upper rectangle should be at its center. The center of gravity of the lower rectangle should be at the center of its. Therefore, if you consider about both of them, then the center of gravity, mostly the center of gravity should be located near here. මේ වගේ පැත්තකට දෙතරම නෙමෙයි මේක ආසන්නයේ ඇදී හරියට යනොත් මෙතන මේක බලා ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. හරියට යනොත් මෙතන වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. And now what will happen? Now what will happen if this object may move this side? What way? Then initially center of gravity should be is near to this position. හරිද? මෙතනම තිබුණ නැහැ. මෙතන තිබ්බ වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, නොතිබ්බ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරියට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක ආසන්නයේ තියෙනවා. හරි? මේක ආසන්නයේ තියෙනවා. දැන් මේක නමු ගම මොකද වෙන්නේ? මම අර කලින් කියපු කතන්දරේ බලන්න. සෙන්ටර් ඔෆ් ග්‍රැවිටි කවදාවත් එජස් වල තියෙන්න බෑ. එජස් වලට එළියෙන් තියෙන්නත් බෑ. එජස් වල තියෙන්නේ mass distribution එකට එළියෙන් තියෙන්න බෑ. එජස් කියලා කියන්නේ ඒක. mass distribution එකට එළියෙන් තියෙන්න බෑ. Now mass distribution එක තියෙන්නේ මෙතනනේ පුතේ. Center of gravity cannot be located beyond the mass distribution. It should be in between mass distribution. Okay? Here it is in between mass distribution because mass is distribution to this side as well as this side. The mass is distributed to this side as well as this side. Therefore, center of gravity can be on this symmetrical line. Okay? But here the mass is totally distributed to this side. Therefore, center of gravity cannot be located somewhere here. මේ පැත්තේ තියෙන්න බෑ. එහෙනම් අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ පැත්තට shift වෙන්න ඕන. මේ පැත්තට shift වෙන්න නැතුව කරන්න බෑ. හරි? ඇයි එහෙම කියන්නේ? If you think like this, now this is the initial, this is the center of gravity of this. So this is a rectangular part, this is a triangular part. එහෙනම් අනිවාර්යයෙන් අපි ගත්තොත් මෙයාගේ මෑස් එක කරලා මෙයාගේ මෑස් එක ගොඩක් වැඩි කියලා අපිට පේනවා. මෙයාගේ මෑස් එක කරලා මෙයාගේ මෑස් එක ගොඩක් වැඩි. මොකද විතර මේ කැලලවක් මෙයාගේ නැහැ පුතේ. ඒ නිසා මෙයාගේ weight එක මෙතන මම W1 කියලා ගත්තා. මෙයාගේ weight එක මෙතන W2 කියලා ගත්තා. අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක W2 පැත්තට තමයි වැඩිපුර යන්න ඕනේ. W2 පැත්තට තමයි වැඩිපුර යන්නේ. පැහැදිලිද? ඒක නිසා මේ දෙන්නගේ මෑත්ස් එක ඉක්වල් වුණා කියලා x කියන එක අයින් වෙලා x කියන එක shift වෙවි තියෙන්නේ. අනිවාර්යෙන් shift වෙනවා. පැහැදිලිද? Is that clear? Okay, in fifth question පුතේ, when H-shaped body is shown in the figure is hung point point B, it's when H-shaped body shown in the figure is hung from point B, it hangs with point D directly below to B. මොකද E නෙවෙයි B. මම බැලුවා මේක දෙන්නේ කියලා. එතන B තියෙනෝනේ E නෙවෙයි. When the point is hung from point E, then as a point E වලින් එල්ලුවොත් it hangs so that the point C is directly below to point E. C is directly below to point D. And එහෙනම් EC එකයි DB එකයි තමයි vertical lines. EC and DB are the vertical lines. Therefore, you have to draw EC and DB lines. EC and DB lines. So if you draw EC and DB vertical lines, the intersection point mostly it should be S. It should be S. පැහැදිලිද? Fifth one, answer should be S. Is it clear? පැහැදිලිද? එතන පොඩ්ඩක් question එක හදාගන්න එනවා පුතේ. අර එතන point E නෙමෙයි. මොකද්ද? It has the first second part one. Second sentence one. When H-shaped body shown in the figure is hung from point B, it has with point D directly below E. නෙමෙයි එතන B වෙනවා. B වලින් එල්ලුවොත් D තමයි තියෙන්නේ එළිය. So this is the shape පුතේ. Here B, here D. If you hang this object at from point B, if you hang this object at point B, then BD, DD is a vertical line because it says point D is directly below to point B. And point D is directly below to point B. When the object is hung from point E, point E point E, C is directly below point E. Another point E. Here point C. So if you hang this object from point E, if you hang this object from point E, then EC is the vertical line. EC is the vertical line. This is the first vertical line. This is the second vertical line. Therefore, center of gravity should be located at the intersection point of the vertical lines. Therefore, it should be located at point S. Fifth question. Okay. Sixth one. What is the answer for sixth one? Yes, sixth one answer should be fourth one. It should be fourth one because if we compare with hydrogen atoms, oxygen means it is 16 times larger than hydrogen atoms. Therefore, if you consider about two hydrogen, this is 1997 question and the 97 question. If you consider about the center of gravity of two hydrogen atoms, it should be located at point P. It should be located at point P because it is the midpoint of 2H. Then you have to consider two kilogram mg. 2 unit at point P, and there's 60 unit at point T. T were 16 theena, P were 2 theena. Therefore, definitely Z of gravity should be very, very close to T. Therefore, answer should be S. Answer should be S. Correct answer should be S. That means fourth question, fourth answer. Hey, there are two. If you got that one, please raise the hand. Therefore, correct answer of question sixth question is question number answer number 4. Answer number 4. Seventh one, uniform wire is bent as shown in the figure. The center of gravity of the whole wire is most likely to be found at. What is the answer for question number 7? Question number 7 ने क्या आंसर है बताओ? Okay. So here's the symmetrical line. Okay. Here you can reject some answers. What are those? Dakagama incorrect answers for Dakagama incorrect answer. Answer. You can reject point E. Point E because point E is located at one edge. One edge. Yes, point E can be rejected. Can be rejected. Then, so you know the weight of these two. The weight of these two should be located at point E because weight of these two should be located at point E. Point E means there is a symmetrical axis with a symmetrical axis point E. Therefore, if you consider about the weight of these two, WW, 2W should be at this point. 2W. So if you add 2W here, then you can remove these two. Now, there are only 3, 1, 2, 3 things to be considered. You know, now as this, if this is a center point, here there's W there, again there's W. Therefore, at the center, there should be 2W. At the center, there should be 2W. At the center, there should be 2W. Then I can remove these two. Then I can remove these two. Now there are only 3 forces. Here W put in, here W, 2W, 2W. If you consider 2W, 2W, definitely there should be 4W at the middle of this force system. At the middle of these two line segments. These two lines. Therefore, instead of considering these two W's, I can remove it. Now there are 2 things to be considered. One is W, other one is 4W. 1 to 4. 1 to 4. 1 to 4 තියෙනවා. 1 to 4. එහෙනම් අනිවාර්යෙන් මේකට වඩා පහළින් මෙයාට අසන්න ඉන්නවා. Therefore, definitely it should be something like C නේ පුතේ. C වගේ තමයි. D එක ගොඩක් පහළින්. It should be like C. Because A is on the above point, here B, here C, D is this point. D is this point. Therefore, the most possible point is point C put A, just above 4W, just above 4W, but it should be very close to 4W. If it is clear, please raise the hand. C එක middle එක නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. middle එක. ඒක rule එකක් ගේන්න අපිට විනාඩි දෙන්න. It is B. It is not C, it is B. It is not C, it is B. So if you are given this kind of question, please use a ruler. Please use a ruler to identify what is the exact point. And because all of them are very close to each other, but if you may use a ruler, it is very clear. Point B is at the middle. Point B is at the middle, not point C. Not point C. Therefore, answer should be answer number C, not answer number D. And is that clear? හොඳට බලන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් rulers නම් use කරන්න මේ වගේ තැනකදී හරියට guess කරගන්න. මේක guessing විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. guess කර කර හරියට rule එකක් use කරන්න. Because when you are in the exam today, actually, if there is a question like this in your exam paper, definitely that figure will be drawn into a scale. Therefore, you can use a ruler. Okay, I will explain it at the end. I will explain it again. Okay. Then question number 8. Question number 8. I will explain it to you. What is the answer of question number 8? Question number 8. Again, same thing. මේ වගේම තමයි කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. බලමු. Now there is a figure like this. Okay. Now you are asked to determine the center of gravity. Center of gravity. Right. Okay. මේ කරන්න පුළුවන් ඉතින් ඕන තරම් විදි තියෙනවා බලමු. The center of gravity of these two definitely it should be at point D. This is center of gravity of these two. I will put it as 2W. I will actually I assume one block is equal W. One block is equal W. Therefore, if you consider about the center of gravity of these two, it should be located at point D and the weight is 2W. The weight is 2W. Then, if we consider about these two, definitely it should be at the middle of this one. That means point C. That should also equal to W. මේ දෙක. මේකත් හරි මේකත් හරි. ඊළඟට I can consider the entire object here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 W's here. Therefore, it should be located at point A. This is 4W. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. If it is clear, please raise the hand. Therefore, you can clearly understand, therefore, the center of gravity cannot be C, cannot be D, cannot be E. A, C, D. You can read it. Therefore, answer should be, it can be either point B or E. Either point B or E. Either point B or E. Okay. Now you can consider these two, C and D. If you consider C and D, now it is very clear there should be a 4W like this. In the middle of CD line, there should be 4W. Now you can consider this two. Yes. Now you can consider this two. There should therefore definitely now the result force of these two definitely should be in between them. It should be in between them. It cannot be beyond that point. It cannot be beyond that point. Therefore, if you draw this line, definitely answer should be answer B. Answer B. Answer E cannot be happen because answer E is outside to this line. Therefore, the answer should be answer B. If it is clear, please raise the hand. Negative or position. Then, question number 9. What is the answer to question number 9? මේ අනිත් එකමයි නේද? It is very similar to 1998 question. 1998 question. නේ? හරි. But figure is way a little bit different. ඒකම නෙවෙයි නෝ. ඒක හිතෙන් හිතලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. අදින්න ඕනේ නෑ බලන්න. You know there are three bars at the top. Therefore, there should be 3W at point D. There should be the weight of 3W at point E. Is it clear? There should be a weight of 3W at point E. If it is clear, please raise that. There should be 3W at point E. Now, you have to take the ruler and verify what is the middle point. It is seen to be B. Midpoint is B. Midpoint is B. Yes. Therefore, at B, there should be 2W. B, there should be 2W. Therefore, at E, there should be 3W. At D, there should be 2W. Therefore, what would be the point? Yes, it is D, not C. It should be D. කොහොමද ගත්තේ? බලන්න. මේක guess කරන්න ඕනේ නෑ පුතේ. You know how do you how to take the resultant force of two parallel forces. So you have to take the resultant force of two parallel forces only. Consider the theory part. That's enough. And okay. Now there are three rods here. Now there are three rods here. Therefore, this is the middle. This is the center of the three rods. Therefore, if I consider the weight of one rod is W. If I consider the weight of one rod is W, definitely the total weight is 3W. It should be at point E. If it is clear, තේරුණා තුස්සන් එක. මේ තුන් දෙනාගේ weight එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේ center එකේ. දෙක තේරුණා තුස්සන්. If it is clear, please raise the hand. තේරුණා තුස්සන්. හරි. මට හැමෝගෙම respond එකක් දෙනවා ලේසියි. Now I have taken 1, 2, 3. Now I have to take these two rods only. Now the weight of this rod is here, W. Weight of this rod also here. Now the resultant weight of these two rod is 2W, that is at this position. Midpoint. Now there are only two forces. Now there are only two forces. What are those? One is 2W, other one is 3W. Therefore, definitely the resultant force should be in between them. The resultant force should be in between them. That means this is the center of gravity. How to take the center of gravity? Now one force is 3W and other force is 2W. Here put a E, here B. At E there's a 3W force. At B there's a 2W force. Therefore, the resultant force or the center of gravity should be located 2 to 3 ratio. 2 to 3 ratio. මේක මෙතන යනවා මේක මෙතනට එනවා. එහෙනම් මේ පැත්තේ ඉඳන් තුනක් මෙහෙට යනවා. තුනක් මෙහෙට. නැත්නම් මේ පැත්තෙන් ගන්නකොට දෙකක් මෙහෙට එනවා. එහෙනම් 3W ට ආසන්න එනවා. Therefore, the center of gravity should be located very near to 3W. Therefore, most possible answer is answer D. Answer D. If it is clear, please raise the hand. Because C is very close to B. C is very close to B. Therefore, C cannot be happen. Center of gravity should be close to E. Therefore, the closest point is the closest point to point E is D. If you got that explanation, please raise the hand. I need responses from everyone. Right. Then the question number 10. What question number 10? What is the answer for question number 10? Question number 10 answer. Mera Pikara. What is the answer for question number 10? Yes, that is fourth one D. Question number 10 answer is D. We did this part. We did this question as an example. Okay. RO3 therefore answer should be it should be on the symmetrical line. It should be on the symmetrical line. It should be on the symmetrical line. Therefore, definitely it should be on. Therefore, the answer should be either A, D, or E. A, D, or E. The answer should be either A, D, or E, because that is the symmetrical line for it. And that is symmetrical line because you know the center of gravity of any object should be located on the symmetrical line if there is a symmetrical line. Now there is a symmetrical line. What is the symmetrical line? This ADE line. ADE line. Now this part is removed. Okay, මේ part එක remove කරලා දෙන්නේ. The part remove කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා මේ line එක විතරයි symmetrical line එකක් වෙන්නේ. Therefore this is the only symmetrical line. This is the only symmetrical line today. Because this part is and here point E, this is the point E, here point D, here point A. Therefore, that's point B and E, B and C. B and C cannot be happen. B and C cannot be happen because those are not on the symmetrical line. Therefore, answer should be either E, D, or E. You know E is the initial center of gravity. The initial center of gravity. Now one part is removed. Therefore, the center of gravity should be shifted to mass concentrated area. This should be shifted to mass concentrated area. Therefore, E cannot be happen. E cannot be happen. E cannot be happen. Therefore, we can remove that term. Then what about A and B? It is very clear A is very, very far away from the center. But you know, there is no any specific mass at this position because this is a uniformly distributed lamina. Therefore, some masses are at this position too. Therefore, most possible center of gravity should be point D, Bhute. It is shifted towards the left-hand side, but yet it cannot be A because A is very far away from the center. And is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand there, Goswami. Okay. Okay. Now I will explain the question number 6 again because there's a question. To explain the question number 6 again. Here oxygen. There are 2 hydrogen atoms like this. Here T, center is T, then S. V, Q, sorry, R, P. P. Now it is very clear. Those are hydrogen atoms. Therefore, its weight should be 1 and 1. This is an oxygen atom. Therefore, this weight should be located at point T. It is 16. So, if we consider these two, the resultant weight should be located at point P because that is the midpoint of these two. There is a midpoint of these two. Therefore, there should be two WO2 weight at point P. Now we don't want to consider about hydrogen atom because now we have taken the resultant force of them. Now there is 2 W weight at this position, 16 weight is at this position. Now it is very clear. There should be 16 to 2 ratio. 16 to 2 ratio. That means 16 to 2 ratio means 2 should be from here. From here, there should be 2. Here to here, there should be 16. Therefore, most possible answer is S. 2 to 16. Method dekata method आ सकती है. 2 to 16. Therefore, most possible answer is answer number D. Because answer method R NS, NS are not matched with this ratio. Therefore, most possible answer is answer number 4, that means yes. Alright. Do you have any question regarding today's explanations? Other explanations from Manohar questions? Do you have any question? Okay. Okay, now we have done 10 questions only with it because today actually we have done very limited uh, class with it. Therefore, uh, we did not have any time to do all of them. So we did only 10 questions, but we will discuss the rest of questions in our next session. Therefore, this is the first EQR session. Then there will be second EQR session also. So we will discuss the rest of the questions in that class with it. Okay, please do all the question and send your answers to me because I need to check them. Otherwise, I cannot give you any comment regarding your answers. Therefore, please send your answer sheets to me. If you can write the argument. What is the argument you use in that question? Then it will be much better. So we can complete today's class. Everyone have a nice day. Midnight putih. Everyone. Welcome. Midnight putih.